Welcome to Van Lathan's The Red Pill, where we give you the brutal truth of reality. A lot of reality in this episode because we're talking to Big U. Big U is a community organizer who has the Developing Options program that is fixed on sort of curing the problems of inner city communities everywhere. He is also a legendary figure in the LA street gang culture. Definitely a real one. Big U is going to take us through his entire life, his upbringing, how he changed his life, what made him use sort of the status that he had gained on the streets to benefit the communities that he used to be in, sort of doing his dirt. It's a very, very compelling story. He's also going to talk to us a little bit about what he's doing in the music business as well. He's got some kids that he brought, up-and-coming rappers, going to want to hear from them in the future. He's also going to talk a little bit about Takashi 6ix9ine, what he thinks of what he's doing and how Takashi is representing and maybe even making a mockery out of gang culture everywhere, and specifically here in Los Angeles. You are not going to want to miss what he says about that and the jewels that he drops about how we fix this entire thing. Check it out. Pop some pills. Let's do it. Everybody give it up for a very important man. Man's doing some great things, some very important, essential things in our community, Big U. Everybody give it up for Big U right now, man. Clap loud. And we're going to clap again this time, except only Jason's going to clap, because once again, Jason doesn't seem to really appreciate our heroes in the black community. So, Jason, I'm telling you, you're going to want to clap for this brother, man. Clap loud for Big U, Jason. Come on. Oh! Big U, what up, brother?
Nothing much. What's happening with you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Now, living in Los Angeles, I'm well aware of who you are and what you do for the community, in the music world, all across the gamut. But for people on the Red Pill, and we thank you for joining the Red Pill today, that don't know the story of Big U, let's start there. Let's talk about your life and how you got to the point that you are now.
Pretty much where I came from.
All of that.
Born and raised in South Central LA. Lived there all my life till I got kicked out of California at an early age.
Word, okay.
And got sent to Chicago. I lived out there for 2 years because I couldn't come back till I was 18.
Yeah.
And, came back in 85. And they let me come back to California and went through the same thing most kids was going through the gang life, through the streets. Shot about 7, 8 times.
Damn.
Yeah.
In reality?
In reality. 7 different times. And
wait, what you mean 7 different times?
Well, 7 different incidents. 7 shots. I mean, shot here, shoulder.
This nigga is an android. 7 different incidents.
Yeah, it was live back in the early 80s and 90s. It was
my brother.
Yeah.
So let me ask you one question. When you've had that many different brushes with that, does that, and we're gonna get right back to your story. I just want to ask one question I've always, does that give you a different sense of purpose? Do you feel like you survived all of that stuff for a reason?
Well, you know, at the age we was in, it was kind of like it was almost like, we were so ignorant at the time. It was like, hey, he got shot. And we was more revenge, or let's go back and
do what we had to do or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't until I got older that I really started to understand, like, oh, you're here for a reason. You know what I mean? But back then, being young, I think the first time I got shot, I was 15. And so I kind of like been in it coming up early.
Right.
And then so just kind of being in the streets, like it was kind of like what we was going through in California, the Boys in the Hood story.
Yeah, word. You know? So after that, you were saying, so around that time, you're into the gang life, and then take us from there all the way to kind of like what's happening.
And
with
then
you.
like in 89, 80, I was we kind of morphed into more of the drug scene. We started going to different states, and the process was going from one state to another one I won't mention because I don't know if they still tripping, but I ended up reading Malcolm X's autobiography.
Word, very important book.
And I read Malcolm X's autobiography. It was the first time I read something that connected with me as an African American young man growing up. I had never read a book that made me feel like the book was talking about me or was written for me. And I connected with it. In the process, I cut my hair off. I just had my first son. And so I started studying Islam. This was like 90, 91, no, like 89, 90. And I was like, I'm finished with this. I was trying to find a way out of the streets to do something different. And Lamont Broomfield, who had Corrupt at the time, had came to me because I was getting a lot of money at that time.
Right.
And he was like, bro, let's do this. Help me with this music with this kid I got named Corrupt. And I'm like, oh, I'm on the board. I had the bread, and he was more into the music, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna finance it. When it started kicking with Corrupt, that built the relationship with me and music. And then I left after that. Shortly after that, I said I didn't really want to sell drugs no more. I didn't want to hustle the way I had been hustling, but I didn't know how to do nothing else. Right after the time I made trying to make the transition, the feds hit a couple of different states I was in. I ended up burning a lot of money paying for lawyers for my partners, and they all stayed down. So a couple of them did time, but it was all good.
Right.
But now I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to make a living other than hustling.
Right.
So the only thing I knew how to do was, still in my state of not wanting to do nothing to black people, I went back to robbing, because I feel like I can rob the drug dealers and then sell the drugs.
Right.
Ends up getting 23, no, I had to give him 23 years in prison, did 13. But my mindset had already been changed. I already was kind of moving through a different light. So while in prison, I had already made the transition to want to help our people, and studying Islam and working through, and then just restudying. I just was on a mad mission to study where religions came from, where the philosophy come from. I thought, I studied theology, I studied all the stuff, read everything I can get, took different kind of courses. I read almost every book you can get on I read on music industry, on food industry, how we got from just killing and eating what you needed to packaging food, where that came from, that philosophy came from. I read it all because I didn't want to come back home.
And this is why you was down.
This is why I was down.
Yeah.
So I looked at the time I had to do and said, well, I'm going to use this as a form of education and say this is
just like Malcolm did.
Right. Like, exactly. I took that philosophy and I wanted to, better myself while I was gone.
Right.
And I didn't want to come back home the same ignorant person I was when I left.
Right.
And so doing that, I had already developed an option. So while I had did 3 years and 9 months in the hole, I went to the hole while I was in there. So, yeah.
3 years and 9 months in the hole.
Yeah, I did 3 years and 9 months straight in the shoe. And so that's when you're total solitary confinement. And it was really, and then brothers was really going crazy in there.
You fucking right, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm 51. That was the only time I was really scared in my whole entire life, where I was really fearful that I was going to lose it. Because when I first came, I had seen brothers I had been down with maybe 7, 8 years and really losing their mind, like putting feces on themselves, not cutting their hair, losing their grooming, because it was the treatment it was a treatment the guards were giving you. If you offended one of them, they had so many ways to take it out on you. And then it was just, and then the solitary confinement, the solitude of being by yourself. And at that point, what had me so scared is I could remember everything I had ever done wrong and things I had did right. And it was about, really, I don't think people understand how it is to be by yourself, not just one day, but consistently, and not having a human's touch.
Right.
The physical connection between human beings is so important. And then not being, just looking at walls every day was tumultuous. And so I stopped watching TV. And so I kind of figured it out. I didn't watch no TV. I watched TV and took in any information other than reading only for 2 hours a day. Because in California prisons you can get TVs and radios, but I took myself out of that just to keep my insanity.
Right.
I mean, there was people going crazy right next door to me. That was like saying, and you can see the gradual progression into them losing
hearing them lose touch with reality. Did that ever make you fear that it was inevitable that you would one day?
I really was scared. So I really just erased time. I erased calendars, dates. I wanted every day to be the same day. 4 o'clock in the morning workout, and You know, just I didn't want to have no relations. So I can only visit my wife 15-minute visits. I did that 15-minute visit once a month. I didn't want her to go driving from LA out there to see me.
Yeah.
So that was when I started writing. So I started writing. I wrote Developing Option. That's the group we have now, the program we have now. Excuse me. So what I had wrote in there is what we're doing now. And I've been blessed to have the support from a lot of people in our community to be able to get it off the ground and get it to where it is now, to where it's starting to be recognized nationally, you know, for the work that we're doing. And I like to tell people, I don't want to leave this earth and be known as one of the most negative people in LA.
Right.
I would like to be known as somebody who helped to change what we helped to build. You know what I mean? And so that's really, you know, it's a quagmire.
Right.
You
right.
know?
Listen, coming up in those circumstances, oftentimes you are forced to make incredibly difficult decisions and sacrifice for things that you want. Now that you're out here, because we hear a lot of stuff, right? We hear a lot of guys that talk a lot of stuff about where they come from and stuff like that. Would you say that all of that was worth it to be able to do the work that you're doing right now?
I say it definitely was, because kids have the information era now. Kids have the ability to research everybody, and they can kind of tell where you're coming from. Like, they can tell, like, you know, was he a real one?
Right.
And you need to have that to be able to reach and connect to some of the kids that's out here today. And then I tell kids now that they don't have an excuse for success because of, I mean, I was right there. No father. I didn't meet my father till I went to Central Juvenile Hall. They wouldn't release me because I had so many crimes they couldn't find me. Now, that's when I met my father. I went to Chicago. He was the only one that can get me because they didn't want to release me back to California because me and what the homies was into. And so I met him at 16, but I was already gone. You know, I already had been shot a couple of times in the street, so my mind was already where it was. So I tell kids now when I speak to them, you don't have an excuse to not reach for success and not to fight and not to, you know, and it's like you said, it's about making, I make bad decisions today, but I think I make better decisions than I did, you know, early on. Yeah. And key people ask me, why do I still call myself Big U? Because I want the young people to understand that it wasn't the name, it was the decisions I made. Right. If I say, call me Eugene, call me this, then that really doesn't change. I want people to see you can still be where you from, but you got to represent the good of where you from. Right. You got to represent positivity. You know what I mean? And you know, so
what's your, and so your organization, the nonprofit that it's called
Developing Option.
And its goal is to do what?
We administer to communities. Okay. We administer. I don't want to be bottled in. Sure. Because I want to be able to say that kids and people and families can come to us for everything, and that's what they do. I mean, we help with education. We have a tutoring program. We have sports. We do food drives. We do everything that we see that the community needs. Right. And I mean, I would like to see our program in all the different cities. We on our way into Atlanta right now through the mayor's office in Atlanta. We sit down with Dr. Creflo Dollar out of Atlanta. We met with the mayors in Jersey about bringing the program there. The key to the program is it has to be the big homies in each neighborhood, because they're actually the ones who the young people are gonna listen to. Right. So I want to reach them. I want to know, like, okay, I want to help the big homie bring the program and be able to facilitate the program and service his community. Right. Because that's the key to it. Right. You know what I mean? It ain't really about going in and bringing a whole lot of different people from different places. It's about the ones that's in that community being able to get the sports program, help the kids with the right intentions.
Have you found that when you talk to these guys about sort of changing the trajectory of these communities, that they're receptive to that? Is that something that they want?
You know what? It's so many people reaching out that I really can't even help them, and there's so many brothers who have reached the level of love and education that they want to help their people, but we don't have it. Our problem is right now is the fastest growing millionaires in our community are our athletes.
Yeah.
But they don't give back to the community in the right way. And then I don't think it's because of them not wanting to, it's because the people who are leading them in that direction. Most of the people who handle them are European people or white people, so they're going to actually get them to donating and supporting organizations that they are familiar with.
Right.
When I just had a conversation, I was looking at one of my young fellas who made a big donation to an organization, but I'm still struggling. Our organization is struggling. But they see me, but they don't get the ability to make the donation because it has to go through their business manager, through their accountant, through whoever have you, and they're not familiar with doing stuff in the community.
Right, and they probably also have a negative sort of idea of what's happening in the community.
Right.
Because one thing that always, I'm from South Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I think one thing that kind of always stuck out to me about, like, for example, there's a guy right now named Darius Geis, plays for LSU, topping him or representing him over at the, so he's going to go into TD, he's going to go into the draft. And when they talk about Darius Geis and where he came from, it's where my mom and them from, the bottom in South Baton Rouge. And they talk about it as a place that's inherently evil, that he beat the odds and all of this stuff. And don't get me wrong, if you grew up on Carolina Street or any of those places like that, you was
on Trenton Road.
Word, you know what I'm saying? If you was at a disadvantage, but it's not hell.
Yeah.
There are people down there that are working, honest people that want to see their community do better, that want to see their community evolve. And I think a lot of times we preach escape rather than evolution. You know what I mean? We can't really talk about areas like ain't nobody there worth it's going to be hard. You know what I mean? So how do we then convince even some of our people that are living in these areas to, as much as you want to get out, but take pride in fixing the community that you come from rather than ascending to a different one?
It's right, like right now, like I live in my neighborhood. I still live in my neighborhood. I just live up the hill from where I grew up on.
Word.
I grew up on Arlington, and I live up the hill from my neighborhood, in my neighborhood right now.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. Vast majority of the friends that we have, we were friends since 5 years old. That's a key to what gangs are. Right. And then I meet a lot of people who are civilians who don't have that connections to the friends that they had when they was 5 years old. But most gang members have the friends and associates from being babies.
Right.
And that's how you have a connection to your community.
Right.
Because the people who are from the community, build a bond.
Right.
And so it has to be those who come from the community to reach back.
Right.
Like, for instance, athletes who come from the community should reach back to the community. And that's the problem. That's what I was talking about when I say most of our millionaires or athletes, they don't reach back. And because they don't actually have a real genuine connection, because sports take them down a different road. AAU, traveling
they're gone. They see
They're
different
not
things
really in the community.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's their cousins, their uncles, or
the people that still have to live there.
Right. So that millionaire, once he makes it out of college and into whatever sports he in, he don't really have a connection to the hood. He just know where he came from.
Right.
And if most of the friends that he have are friends who either balled with him and didn't make it with him, or friends he met in college and going on. And that kind of moves them in a different direction. So I don't tend to blame them. I just say that more of our people die from guns than they do from cancer. More of our people die from being killed in the streets than they do from lupus and all these other things that are being donated to. And that's not a knock on these other things, but the problem in our community is that we are killing each other, we are poisoning each other, and we need people to focus on those issues.
Right.
And that's what it is right now.
So how do you feel like, because we're talking about, especially in Los Angeles, like I'm not from here. So we don't have any gang culture where I'm from. It's all neighborhoods, it's all this and this and that. Do you think that the LA gang culture as it is right now can coincide with clean, safe, and good communities, or does that have to end?
It's definitely doing it already. Right now, I've been home in 2004. I came home in 2004. Right now in 2018, the gang murder, the gang violence in Los Angeles, California, which is surprising to most people, is the lowest it's been since 1967. And
really?
Yes. We are safer now as far as gang culture since I've been home and got involved with the gang intervention program through the mayor's office. It's a grant that was written by Dianne Feinstein maybe 15, 20 years ago. And it funnels to help so-called gang leaders or gang influencers in those communities to run in programs like mine, which is development option. And what we do, I have 11 employees. Some are Bloods, some are Crips, some are Mexicans, and they go out and they help deal with issues in LA. It has had an overwhelming effect. So unbeknownst to most people, we are at the lowest we've been since 1967 in LA right now. So what I did was when I came home in 2004, I was back with Corrupt, Suge, and all that running around. You remember when I was with Suge.
Sure.
And then I found Nipsey. And then I took Nipsey. Me and Nipsey went to Steve. We went to New York, got on.
Steve Lobel,
yeah.
Yeah. You guys, let me tell you something. If you listen to this podcast, you heard Steve's name, you think you don't know who Steve is. If you see Steve's face, you automatically know this dude is one of the big, you see him everywhere. Yeah. It's crazy. Everywhere. You see a picture, it'll be Nas, Hove, and then Steve. Right. And it'll be and everyone be like, yo, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So Steve is a shout out to him, man. He's been doing this thing for a long, long time. Very important. One of those behind the scenes movers and shakers that's very, very important to hip hop and to the culture and stuff like that. So shout out to him.
So what we did when I came home, like I said, when I came home from prison, my idea was to change the culture of LA. And my idea was if we can just deal with the color line. When Nipsey came out, the difference between Nipsey and most rappers is Nipsey was the first rapper to say a set and not a city. Most rappers come out representing Compton, Long Beach, Watts.
Right.
Nipsey came out, the only thing he said was rolling 60s.
Yeah.
Never, no city, LA. And the consciousness was when I was doing his videos first in the beginning was we don't want to put nothing crossing nobody out, dissing nobody's set. Because in my mind, I had a vision, if we can just get the color line part down. Now, red or blue is not so offensive because even Crips wear red, and Nipsey was wearing red, and people were sweating me about that. Why he wearing so much red? Because what's wrong with red? Right. And so that was a design plan that we had. And so now you see where the first we had a mentality, a bull mentality, where if you seen red in LA, you automatically got to go off. Right. Or if you see blue, you automatically go off. So now when you start destroying that color line, you give people a chance to think. Right. Now you don't know what set he from, and you see everybody wearing every color, and that takes the violence down a tremendous. It takes it down tremendous.
People stop jumping off the window on sight.
On sight.
Yeah.
And so now you see our young people. It's still a gang culture because when I left in 91. When I left in 91, it was probably, 30%, 20% of the people gangbanging or in affiliated with gangs. I come back in 2004, it's 90% of the people affiliated with gangs. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then now, I was laughing with my boy Wack. I was like, man, y'all really didn't trip it. Y'all got everybody claiming blood. Just like, and it's so terrible. You got to get I said I'm gonna do a video with these execs, and somebody come in trying to rap, and after you do a spit, say, yeah, we're going to give you a bag, but what gang you going to choose?
It's a thing now. I mean, listen, well, I'm going to be honest with you, the first time it's rappers from down South Louisiana that was, I'll say it, I'm not dissing them at all. I'm just saying, like, I was surprised to hear when Wayne was doing that, first of all, because it was always my understanding that was something that you joined when you were a little bit younger. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm completely green about it. No clue. Like I said, we don't have it. But it was something. It's something now I see the guys that are a little bit further along in their careers that they have those affiliations. And what I always wondered is, and maybe you can shed some light on it for people that may not be from LA or don't know, like why it seems like the cool thing to do at this point. Why does it seem like it's like the hot thing just in the industry, not so much even for the kid that has to do it?
I can address that because I get that question all the time. Well, it's almost like when you come to LA, and because LA is the epicenter of where gang banging started the way we do it. Yeah. Gangs is not new.
Sure.
In the United States of America, but the way we do it, as far as the culture of Crips and Bloods, is if you're going to be moving to LA and you're going to be moving around LA, you are going to need some kind of affiliation.
Right.
Now, where you take that affiliation is where people start losing it. Mm-hmm. If you come to LA and it's a bunch of Crips and Rolling 60s and Bloods and all these different gangs that's in these clubs, and you wearing this bling bling, it's almost like you need security.
I see. So
it makes sense in a lot of ways to be affiliated, but where you take it, when you become offensive, disrespectful, and start trying to, overtly be this Mr. Gang leader and gang whatever have you, then you tripping.
Right.
But if you come in and it's like having security.
Right.
If I do the same thing. If I go to New York, I check in with my boys in New York. I go to Atlanta, I check in with them. It's respecting line. I go to Houston, I'm gonna call Jay. I mean, it's just things that I do, and it's natural to what people do. Even the United States of America do it.
Right.
You don't go to other countries and just pop in.
So you're explaining something right now that a lot of people are talking about. Checking in. My boy Charlemagne just had somebody on his show a couple of weeks ago named Takashi 6ix9ine. You familiar with this guy?
Yeah.
The room is already laughing. I said the name and the room is already laughing. Now, this is what happened. So one of his big things is he's poking the bear. He's saying on the Breakfast Club, 8 million views. He coming to LA. He ain't checking in. He went to Houston. He got into it with the Princess and stuff like that. Is for people that don't know exactly what checking in is, maybe explain it and tell us what you run the risk of when you don't do it.
Well, let me say checking in is different. I guess it's a different way to say it. That kid is all the way being steered totally wrong, period. I don't even know how to say it, period. First of all, I don't respect the movement, because if the movement is based off buffoonery, then it kind of stops right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, how can you address buffoonery? If you're going to disrespect the whole city and the whole state, and, it's buffoonery. And he says it himself. You know what I mean? But checking in to me is about, I'm definitely going to check in if that's the word, because I'm going to let my family know where I'm going, that I'm coming.
Right.
And in the way the gang culture is now in LA, it's almost like it's Crips and Bloods in every state that you can go to now, people who claim affiliated with it. So it's different for me. But for somebody else, like I said, if you're in the entertainment business and you're moving around and you're disrespecting the culture, it's not good to me. You know what I mean? And I mean, let me say, I did an interview. I did some of my live about Cardi B. I didn't personally see what she said as being disrespectful.
You didn't think that was disrespectful?
I think that she claimed something, and that's the vernacular that they use. And I feel like it's wrong to jump off on her when it's everybody else doing it.
Right.
And then the next week, somebody else saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know her. I've never done no business with her. I don't, I'm not even in the future of doing it. It's just that I see it as now, I can't say something but Chris Brown, all the rest of these dudes, who not from LA doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, why does that make her, so
specifically wrong?
But I do feel where other people can be offended. So I feel like I can see where they would be offended. Like, no, that was disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I can see that too. You know what I mean? I can see both ends. And it's just, but what 6ix9ine is doing is totally different than what happened with her.
Well, how you feel like it's different?
Because he verbally, and his crew is verbally disrespecting, a city. You disrespecting the culture.
Right.
I'm not gonna never go in there, and I wouldn't even let nobody who's affiliated with me go and say, Muck New York, Muck Atlanta muck. I'm not gonna never do that. I'm not even gonna allow it. You know what I mean? Me being somebody who knows life and death and people losing their lives, I would check my people before somebody else ever gets to check them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that shows you where the leadership is in his camp, the people who's influencing him. You know what I mean? That shows you the knowledge and the respect for life that they've been through. They haven't been to multiple funerals, you know, day in, day out. They haven't seen their family fly back in a casket from another city or state that they've been in.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a testament to the people who's influencing him.
A lot of these things to me, I feel like, are influenced by the internet. And the reason why I say this is because
the internet.
The internet lets you become a human avatar, like you're not a real person, right? So if you're on it, if you're on the internet, you can dress yourself up and then just say that's what you are.
Yeah.
So that's how you can go from being, and this is not my opinion on one specific person. This is just what I know of the internet. The internet, you can put a cowboy hat on and stand next to a horse 3 days out of the week, and you're a cowboy.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter if you know how to ride the horse. Doesn't even matter if you know how to rope the horse.
That is true.
You can be scared of everything around. You can be petrified of the horse, but if you stand in front of the horse with the hat on, you're a cowboy.
You're a cowboy.
So the difference is a lot of people got kicked in the fucking head by the horse, okay? A lot of people crack their skulls to be cowboys, and they don't appreciate if you claim to be one and you're not one.
Right.
So when you're watching an interview and someone's saying, I'm saying all of this and I can go to LA whenever I want, what do you think? What goes through your head?
It would be buffoonery, and if well, honestly, if cats from LA allow it, then I think that's wrong because they're not I don't profess. It's not even a gang banging thing. It's a culture thing. But then I had later on got a little more information. I think somebody had disrespected him.
Yeah, yes.
So it was more like blood on blood, and he was only talking to them.
Right.
But the way it was perceived and the way you put the message out, it becomes offensive to everybody. You know what I mean?
I feel you. So, in terms of what are your goals if I made you in charge of, first of all, what community did you grow up in out here?
The Crenshaw community.
Crenshaw community. So if I made you in charge of that community, what would your goals be for the community, short term and long term? What do you want to see fixed away?
Well, because we actually trying to, and we doing we having a little bit of success. I'm gonna say not overwhelming success because even in my different, where I'm from, we had conflicts with ourselves, but I would like to see more focus on our kids getting into electronics, into developing.
Nipsey's big on that.
Yeah, Nip is good on that. We was both on. He got somebody else he dealing with, and I'm doing some things that we doing, and it's like the same synergy. You know, we can help each other. But I would really like us to change the way we look at education, as far as getting our kids to view education as the way out instead of like I grew up, you're a nerd, and it really kind of, you know, if you reading, you was a nerd.
I went through it.
And if you trying to be successful in a way opposite of selling drugs, you a square.
Right.
And like you said, the internet, I think I don't want to say it's terrible, but I think we need to be able to find a way to take social media and identify, you know, the buffoons and the people that's not really positive. And in saying that, I would want to see kind of what the Black Panthers did. If I had my choice with my organization to be able to feed our kids proper food and give them proper education. You know what I mean? If I had $1 billion right now, it would go towards our sports program, food program, and living in hygienes.
Right.
Because that's very important. The education is going to be what everybody has to have. To change the level of education and then go with the education outside of school. Because I got mine from outside of school. I didn't actually get mine in the classroom. I had to get mine because I messed up too. So I'm not going to blame it on the school system. I'm going to blame it on myself because I could have took advantage of a lot of things.
Right.
And I didn't. But I would take those 4 to 5 pillars, and those would be my stake in doing. That's what I do now. We're just not able to reach a large amount of people with the finances that I have.
Right.
But
need a little bit more gas for it.
Yeah, we need more gas. We need facilities to be able to do it, because right now I do everything with the help of Crenshaw High School. Now Horseman High School is coming on to help us and helping to do the facility. We pay so much money to the city. What people don't understand is now through Beyond the Bell, you got to pay $45 to $50 an hour just to practice at these facilities and to play football games. We have to pay the city now to use grass.
Wow.
And it wasn't like that, and it's not even like that in other states, but it's a challenge to even service kids now.
You know what I'm in zero criticism of anybody's lifestyle. You know, I believe in live and let live if you're not hurting anyone. But the older I get, the more I start to ask questions to myself. Like, not who am I not hurting, but who am I actually helping?
Right.
And so brothers are getting money.
Yeah.
They're getting money. And when you hear something like 40 or 50 bucks for football, to you that's a strain because you're trying to do stuff all the time. But I see a lot of people spending $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on chains. And I'm with it. Listen, you talked about $1 billion. You know what the first thing that popped in my mind was? Yacht. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I should have been thinking about the community, but when you said $1 billion, I was thinking Big Pimpin', 2018, me, Brazil. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, Jason. Jason knows. Hey, let me tell you something real quick before we go on. Shout out to Maddie over here. Y'all see Maddie with the glasses? Yeah, everybody. Maddie right here. Here's the thing about Maddie. Maddie's married, but him and his wife have an arrangement. You don't know this, Big U? No. Maddie is allowed to cheat, but only with black women.
For real?
Yeah, only with black women. Maddie is allowed to cheat.
First of all, this is my first time speaking on this podcast. This is the third time mentioned. This is completely false. Fake news. People need to understand that Van is the biggest troll in this office.
I was going with it.
And his whole goal is to deduce you to a clown. That's what he is. He wants to bring everyone to his level.
That's not true.
He calls Lauren the rapper lover.
Okay.
He calls me the cheater.
I didn't say that you were cheating. It's not cheating.
He says Jason doesn't clap for black people.
It's not. I'm not
with it anymore
because your wife allows it.
Right.
Yeah, Maddie, it's not cheating because your wife allows it. That's cool. I was just thinking when Big U said the yacht, I was thinking to myself, wow. Well, we said $1 billion. Like, we get a yacht. How many black chicks could Maddie get on the yacht with him and his wife? Y'all could play.
My wife and I are about to celebrate 4 years together.
Oh, give it up, you guys.
And zero cheating.
Zero cheating.
So I'm gonna keep chugging along.
That's not cheating. If you got permission, right? Yeah. But so, how do you? We were talking about giving back and stuff like this. How do you compel the people that have transcended, be they rappers, be they athletes, be whoever they are, to reinvest in the community if they've?
I haven't been able to exactly master that.
Mm-hmm. Because Nipsey does. What's your relationship with Nipsey as far as that? Like, you guys work together?
Yeah, I found Nipsey. Nipsey out. Yeah.
Right. Nipsey,
he was already rapping, but
Nipsey does. Nipsey is big on it.
Well, no, Wiz is big on it. Nipsey does. I think Nipsey is going into it more now, but Wiz has helped. Wiz, T.I., Josh Smith, some of the people, Draymond Green, have been major supporters. Dwight Freeney, let me see. Who else? I'd be remiss not to say names. Steve Lobel, Jamal Rashid, Marley Marl. These are guys who have been major supporters and helping us to move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nipsey has lended his name in many ways through concerts and shows. The concerts that I've done over the years have been a major help and let us do what we're doing. What people don't realize is that the last event we just had was the Black Tie banquet that we're doing, and what we want to do is set that up as an awards show.
Right.
to say thank you to people who are being positive, and we need help with that. That's if that's I should have said that. The one thing I want to do is to be able to set up an inner city community awards show that will go to give awards to people. Our kids can choose the people who are influencing them in a positive way through whatever they do in sports, music, and entertainment. And that's the Developing Option awards banquet. And what we did was, with Wiz and them help, we got every kid a free tuxedo from age 5 to 14. That we have, we couldn't.
Do you understand how powerful that is?
I mean, you know,
I didn't put like it. I know we did young men don't put suits on in some of these neighborhoods until it's time to go bury somebody,
right,
or go to court.
Right.
Young men, they don't put suits on in celebration. A suit is seen as something that you have to wear at a solemn occasion. You go into court. You, like Lauren said, you putting somebody in the ground, or either your grandmother dragging you out to church on Easter.
Right.
You don't put a suit on to go be fly, to go celebrate, to go do anything. So even situations like that, even just having those young men get fly to go celebrate something changes their programming on what it means to be sharp and to be shy when you gotta do something.
We also gave them etiquette classes. So we had a teacher come in to teach etiquette, you know, how to use it for us. Because it's the stuff that I didn't get. My mother was the one who taught us about etiquette because she's from the South. And I wanted them to, all of them, we had the girls, the boys, learn how to use forks, how to sit down, how to pull the chairs out. And my mind is like, my football team is not the best team in L.A. at all, the little Pop Warner team that we have. But I like to give them stuff. We took couple of hundred kids to Magic Mountain, to Disneyland. We took them to the Black Museum. We take them to the Science Fair. And these are things that I like to take the kids to do so they can have something to help develop, you know, their culture. And it's not all about football. And I really feel like them getting dressed and being able to take their mothers out and learning how to treat their mothers and learning how to treat women was very important to me. Because I've been with my wife since I was 17.
Oh, word.
Yeah. We met, and she was still in high school. I was a dropout.
Oh, okay. Okay, she was keeping up. All right, she was holding it down.
Yeah. So, and I always feel like a lot of times the kids come to my house, the only place they really see a family unit is at my house, where the mother's there, the kids are there, and you get to see a husband and a wife go through the struggles of life and growing old together. So we met when we were 17, and she about to turn a certain age. I can't really say.
I feel you. Know, but she stayed down all of those years through your ups and downs.
Prison. Yeah, definitely.
Man.
She is the Winnie Mandela. And I keep telling her to write a book, you know, but she finally getting in the mindset to want to write one. And so she met with some people. So if anybody want to help her write the book,
yeah, that's amazing.
She is the one. She went through me being, you know, not the best guy, you know, tripping and all that, and staying down, and you know, I love her to death. You know, she's my best friend, rather.
That's amazing. That's very important to see too. Your relationship with her. Do you feel like you could have achieved some of the things that you've done?
No.
Didn't even wouldn't have been possible.
Well, the importance of having, and I used to always hear people say you got to have a backbone, side bone, whatever she may be, is that the thing that she offered me was, especially while I was going through my transition, was the comfort of knowing that somebody is there, the comfort of knowing that whatever I'm going through, I can get home and it's going to be a meal there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I can get home and it's going to be somebody that's going to be there to comfort me.
Right.
Like I said, I'm definitely not, I don't smoke, use drugs. I don't do none of that. I never did.
Right.
Almost everything I did is sober, all the bull crap. So if I get into heaven, I get into heaven. I'm working for that.
Yeah.
But you need to have.
Everything you did sober.
I did it sober.
That should scare the hell out of y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should scare the hell out of it. Because anybody could tip the St. Ives and go out and get live.
Right.
But when you sober,
right.
Yeah, unless you know he had it on his mind.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you were saying about your relationship with her, help focus you.
Yeah, well, and I think with I think I know, because it was the comfort, the knowing that I can count on it being done when it needs to be done, and I can go focus on this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And trusting the fact that you had somebody who was going. Now her spending habits are terrible.
Oh yeah.
I want to leave the door.
Like
I want to leave every time and get that bill.
Right. I feel you.
Oh my God.
But that's the way it goes, though.
Man.
That's the price you pay, literally.
The price you pay, literally.
Let me ask you this: in your opinion, because we've seen when you were doing your thing back in the '80s, the LA gang culture was just starting to become legendary. I think music made it legendary.
Right.
Colors made it legendary. My family lived out here for a couple of years. I think it was from 89 to 92 we lived out here. Riots happened. My dad was like, yo, we got to get back. In Inglewood and in Hawthorne. Things seemed to be really live then, and now you hear about gang culture, and the dangers of it, you hear about it mostly in Chicago. You know what I mean? You hear about it mostly in terms of just people going crazy and all the murders and stuff like that.
That's crazy because it's not even like, I spoke at Harvard. University a couple of years, about 7, 8 years ago, when they was trying to just really kind of like figure it out. And what I was explaining to them was, because I lived in Chicago, what's going on with Chicago is more, not more gang culture, but more displacement. Because I'm gonna give it to you, and this is a fact. When they started breaking the projects down, you started spreading people who were used to being in the projects, 3,000-4,000 people under one rule. Right. Now you start displacing them all over the city of Chicago. Yeah. So now you have pockets of dudes who may have been GD, Vice Lord, or whatever. Now they moving to these different neighborhoods where they're not familiar with. Right. So you may have 4 or 5 that's now carving out their place in that area. And where they used to have leadership in one place who would tell them their orders of the day and their followings of the day, you don't have that no more. So now you got different pockets of young people who are kind of like starting to move on their own. Right. And that's exactly what's happening in Chicago. And that's why that kind of blew up. So now you got these young dudes who don't have no structure, who are trying to figure it out like we were when we were 16, 17, 18, coming up young in LA. In the gang culture, you see them doing that. Young, access to gangs, access to guns, drugs coming from every state, and getting money. And really, like, if it's 5 of us, who we listening to? Well, I'm listening to anybody. But I'm still representing this. Yeah. So it's a different. In Chicago right now. It's a different kind of, you know what I mean, gang situation. I lived there for some years, so I seen it and I seen it when you move the projects, like Robert Taylor Homes and all those places like that got knocked down, and they start moving the people. They start displacing them in different places, and they popping up and they representing. Yeah, they ain't going for that bull crap. I'm from right over here, but still though, we over here now, but this is ours. Right, it's enough of us for this to be ours. I guess the question I'm getting at is, anywhere does gang culture need to end in order for us to have better communities? It definitely needs. Well, let me say, it needs to transition into what it's supposed to have been in the first place. Meaning that even when the gang was started, gangs weren't started with the intention to be violent, killing, and looting and robbing and being a burden to your community. Crips and Bloods. Well, let me say Crippin' was meant to be something that was going to be helpful from the mind of a young person who were going to do that. What it morphed into is something different. When I was getting ready to come out of prison, I was sitting down, we was at the table. I did, like I said, I did the 3 years and 9 months in the hole. I got out the hole and I was on the main line for 21 days. And I used to be chopping up with some of the older homies, OGs, and they was like, "What you wanna do? Like, what's the plan? How you gonna change?" I'm like, "Well, shoot, I'm gonna try to change the community into getting conscious about voting, conscious about becoming men." I read this book by Naeem Akbar, Visions for Black Men. I think that's one of the most important books for young people to read, or men and black girls and boys to read, because it talks about the natural growth from being a boy, man, malehood, and all of the decisions you make, what you want. And it's like in gangs, they join gangs to be ignorant, to have the right to be able to not have no responsibilities, lean, smoke weed, drugs, and just do anything negative or violent. But why can't it be that you are doing something positive for your community. It still goes back to the mindset of, how you gonna represent where you from. No matter what people gonna represent, they all lived on this one block. That's how it starts. It's 3 or 4 boys or girls that live on one block. They start a cheer team, they start this, they start that, whatever have you.
Yeah.
Now, if it morphs into something bad, now they call it a gang. But if they doing cheer, and long as they doing cheer, it's still cheer.
Right, it's positive. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No, I get you. I understand what you're saying.
It's where are we going with it? Like if you are OG, and I say this all the time, but you representing something negative, and when people see you, they come in and it's a negative, and like your impact is negative. You're not influencing this. My kids, OSB shit, my rap group. I implore them to do positive rap, to say stuff, but they with the culture.
Right.
So they gonna say certain things.
Yeah.
And then they feel like I don't want to influence their voice to the world.
Gotta let them be artists. Yeah.
But I still want to say, look, why can't you say something positive?
Right.
If you want to say that, say it this way. How about that? And either they listen to me or not. I'm old. I leave the studio. I get the studio time. I put the studio out, and I roll out.
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Now, when you said you cut your hair back in the day, when you cut your hair, did you cut off a jheri curl?
I cut off a jheri curl. Why was he setting me up for that?
How did I know that? I never even saw pictures of Big U from back in the day, but I can picture him with the jheri curl. I knew it was a jheri curl. Listen, y'all don't understand the jheri curl movement, and I thought that I knew what it was until I got to LA. Back home in Louisiana, if you had a jheri curl, you're probably a lunch lady. You're handing out sandwiches. When you got to LA, bruh, the jheri curl was different in Louisiana. It was different. You know what I'm saying? It was a different thing. When I got to LA, you couldn't play with a nigga with a jheri curl in LA in '89.
The drip.
The smell of the jheri curl was the smell of death. It was like.
So drip, that been
Here comes the youth. Say it. Here comes Lauren being young. Lauren, say something about your interpretations of words. Give Lauren the mic. What drip meant back in the day was something that fucked up couches. Yeah, you was dripping all over everywhere.
Over the couches.
All over the couch.
You had to have a drip. If your hair wasn't dripping and you didn't have it laid, then we used to walk around with the good Fred oil spraying it. Because you wanted it to be dripping.
You wanted the drip. You wanted the jheri curl to drip down.
You wanted it. It was you wanted it because you knew it was wet. You wanted your thing.
You didn't want no like dry jheri curl.
Dry jheri curl get to puffing up and poofing and and it you can see where the new growth.
How often did you have to like maintain the jheri curl to get the drip? What would you do?
Man. You had to keep it. You had to keep it rollered up and keep it oiled. And
what was that shit in the gold bottle?
I don't know.
What was it? It was in the gold bottle.
Good Fred is the one that pops in my head right now.
Right.
Good Fred oil, magnet oil.
So did you have like a drawer specifically with different oils to keep it popping?
You know what's funny, right? We used to have rollers. It was the small rollers, the big rollers. I even had a.
What you had, Big U? Come on, man. You guys, this is red pill. Like, you guys, what you had?
Oh, man, we had a perm, man. I had a perm before.
Big, you had a perm out? Big perm? Back in the day?
Man. You know what I mean? I didn't have no finger wave, though.
A lot of dudes did, though, bro.
Never had a finger wave.
A lot of dudes had finger waves.
Yeah. And then I had a perm. I was real young, though. My mother was... my mother's a Scorpio, so she was, she into that dressing up fashion.
Yeah, getting
Me,
fly.
myself, I'm going to wear the same shoes. These are my favorite shoes, favorite pants.
Right.
And I was my mother's only son. And what's funny is my mother bought me my first blue rag ever. And then, cause
interesting.
She never even knew what it was.
Oh, she didn't know. Oh, she didn't.
Our mothers never knew what gangbanging was. The generation now knows what gangbanging is.
Sure.
My mother didn't know. She used to go to Tijuana all the time and bring us back gifts and toys and all that. And I asked her for a blue rag. I said, "Can you give me a?" So my whole room was blue rags. All this.
And she never suspected anything.
No, it wasn't big yet.
Oh, I see.
It wasn't nothing like people would consciously know, like the blue rag in my pocket. And we went through if you research it, in the early 80s, 79, 80, when we was cripping, we was dressed different. And that's what was different when I went to Chicago, because we would wear khakis, we would wear Dickies, we would wear Stacey Adams, and we wear shirts buttoned down, creased and iron. When I got to Chicago, it was like a culture flip. They was like, why you dressed up like you going to church?
right.
But it was like, nah, dude. I mean, when I got to Chicago, which was funny for me, I'm going to school. I'm in school, and the brothers is asking me, "Do you know Michael Jackson? Do you know?"
Because you're from LA.
Yeah, from LA. You know Arnold from Different Strokes.
Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman. I'm like,
nigga, I'm from Crenshaw.
I know this cripping. I know this. You know, I know how to break a Uzi down. I know how to fix it. I know how to saw off a double barrel shotgun. What are you talking about?
Right.
But it was funny because they didn't have no idea on what we were doing out here, and they really thought like I was a skateboarder and all that. I already been shot 2 times.
Right.
By the time I got out there, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
What's the most accurate depiction of LA life, 80s, 90s, like on TV, movies, or in songs that you saw and you was like, that's kind of how it was?
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube. I mean, Ice Cube was us almost to the T. I left and went to a certain state in 86, 87 when I got out, and he talked about dudes in St. Louis want the cornerback.
Yeah.
Was the homies.
Yeah.
And when he talked about when Boys in the Hood, John Singleton, that was shot in our neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
Train tracks is in our neighborhood. Cimarron is the block that 2 blocks from where I grew up on. The liquor store that Ricky got shot running from is on 8th Avenue in our neighborhood.
Why ain't Zag you? Huh? Why ain't Zag? We asked this. These are the questions that we asked in Louisiana. Why ain't Zag? Let me tell you something, bro.
Why he didn't die?
He can't outrun no bullet. This nigga Ricky. They pull up on Ricky. You feel what I'm saying, bro? Give him the mic.
You got zigzag or something.
Give him the mic.
Never straight line.
Give him the mic. Tell him who you are before we have this conversation.
I'm 5 from the 6, 1/2 of OSB.
Bruh, so...
And I'm just saying, you never run straight from a bullet.
Why you gonna run straight? He got a shotgun.
Never.
But you been shot before, so
I have, so I can't talk too much. But I didn't run straight. I tried to shoot back.
Oh, so you had somebody that been playing Call of Duty looking at you.
You feel me?
Yeah, but like this was I got a question. Listen, I don't know because
why he didn't zag?
Why he didn't zag, bro? Because the dude pulls up, he got the shotgun. First of all, Ricky was going to USC on a football scholarship. So I'm assuming that he's made some people miss before on the football
field.
He didn't make that dude miss. He ran in a straight line. I don't know if you freaked out. And by the way, if I'm your boy and somebody pulls out with a shotgun, I'm not just gonna yell your name and then watch you get shot. I'm gonna be like, yo, Ricky Zag, nigga. Catch a walk, get down.
Duck.
I was hoping you wasn't finna make me look too bad. Cause you know the funny thing about me is every time we had an incident, I was the one getting shot. I got shot at the Boys in the Hood movie in
You got shot at the movie?
At the movie.
How many times did it take to get shot for you go, maybe it's not for me?
I don't know,
You never got to that point? You never get to a point to where you go, because I'll never forget this moment, and listen, y'all can feel free to call me pussy if y'all want. But we're at Club Dreams. If you're from Baton Rouge, you know Club Dreams. One of my homeboys, Ryan, had... Oh, damn. Take that out. One of my homeboys...
my uncle owned Club Dream.
In Baton Rouge?
The Sheltons.
Interesting.
The Sheltons. Willie Shelton and Gary Shelton. Those are my uncles. That's my
I'll tell y'all, Club Dreams used to go down. Yeah. There was a whole little sketch there. I remember one time, I took my mama's Navigator out there, Club Dreams, stand next to the Navigator. Chicks come up. I tell them I was playing for the Rams and shit like that. They believed us. We was like 17. But one time we was out there, and my boy Ryan had been. One time we was out there. One of my homeboys had been doing this thing for a while. I don't know. He's been my friend. He's still my best friend. He's been my friend since we was kids. We out there.
Was y'all gang banging?
I wasn't gang banging. He was in the life. He was moving. He was doing it. At this point,
he was
getting it. Because I remember something that you said earlier. It always struck with me that he said this to me. I'm having a situation. Now, this is a guy that I had known for a long time. came from a situation similar to mine, just got caught up in it and got real deep into it. And I asked him one day, I was like, fam, like, we've been down for a long time. It was starting to bother me. I was like, yo, why won't you stop? And he said, you know, if I decide tomorrow that I didn't want to do it anymore, it wouldn't matter, because as soon as I ride my truck through the hood, people know me. He's like, they're going to come to me. He was like, it's to a point now to where I might not even be able to jump out of it. It's gonna be hard. But anyway, me and him was down there one time, and we're leaving the situation. We get in the car. Niggas wait for us to get in the car, and all of a sudden, they jump out. And I'm looking down the barrel of a shotgun, and he hits the gas. We speed off. 2 cars speed off. They chase 1 car, catch up to one of our homeboys. He is no longer with us. That was all I needed. I needed nothing else. Like, from that day, I called. I was like, yo, bro, I love you. If you need a heart, lung, or kidney, this is the number to call. But as long as you're doing this, I can't rock no more. I was like, yo, I was legitimately, and I had been in situations where people had been, you know, just growing up in or whatever, but being in that mode, being in the mode where it was like literally like, damn, it shook me, but he was unfazed. A lot of people, they get it's different. I always wondered.
It's almost like being in the Army. It's like, you know, you know, they shooting back. They shooting back. You kind of get used to it, and it becomes a part of your, you know, your makeup. You know what I mean?
What's up with these guys? What's up with the OSB dudes? Like, let's talk to them real quick, man. Let's talk a little hip hop, man. What's up with y'all? They next up?
Yes, sir.
Come over here to the mic, my friend.
Everybody's baby mama.
Come over here to the mic, my friend. You introduce yourselves to the people out there that might not know y'all yet.
I'm 5 from the 6.
I don't smoke one. We OSB, which means on some bullshit.
On some bullshit.
Y'all on some bullshit.
Always, yeah.
Is that name? What's the significance of the name?
This dude came up with the name for us, man.
Oh,
wait a minute.
Wait.
Prove that.
What?
This dude right here, man.
Prove
came up
that.
with the name for us, man. I'm just saying.
Prove that.
Hey, man, y'all on some bullshit, man.
And y'all been on the board, and y'all that came up with the name. So you're managing them, or they on your?
You know, they signing my label.
Signing your label?
Yeah, they signing my label. Unique Music.
Unique
Got
Music.
a song out right now that's all over the clubs, all over the radio.
Everybody, baby mama, y'all go check that out.
Especially
strip clubs. It's called Everybody Baby Mama.
Everybody, baby mama.
Text me
You know.
last night like, oh my God, I owe you. Your song made me so much money. No cap. I'm pulling it up right now. So like, no cap. Like,
you want to know what the percentage is? If the song made them a lot of money, like what y'all giving up?
hey, look, that's my.
You know what?
That's what we got going.
Yeah.
Where y'all from though? Where y'all from?
We from LA. Born and raised.
I don't meet too many people born and raised in LA, man. Everybody come from Iowa or some shit like that.
Well,
what part
I was
of LA?
raised in prison for the past like 4 years. We just came home too.
He
so
just
now
came home.
You just came home?
I just came home, so he keeping me straightforward and
Free
out the
smoke.
bullshit 100% where I'm supposed to be.
What lessons have you learned? We talked about a lot of stuff. You know, you're trying to do music and stuff like that. Just being around you, somebody who has a story that's full of the pitfalls. And what have you learned from that situation?
Wisdom, hard work.
Once again, hold on for a second. Now, did you guys see what just happened?
Yup.
Let's so listen real quick.
Oh, he got to get a fade.
Real quick, I'm telling you. You hear what
Get in the
you
alley.
Like, listen, we're talking about positivity.
But he still
And
got to
since
get
we're
a fade.
talking about positivity, what did Jason do? He knocked out the lights. I'm telling
No,
y'all,
he
man.
kicked him out.
Jason is subversive. we trying to talk about, as long as we talking about the bullshit strippers, rah.
Yeah.
Black men get shot in the back. Jason's cool. but like Jason's cool.
Damn,
but as soon as we start talking about what this man gonna do to stay positive, this man has a Rolls Royce insignia tattooed on his neck. He's trying to do big things, and you literally turned the lights out on this dude. Kick the lights out on him. Bro, could you please finish telling us like the positivity that's going on in your life? If it's okay with Jason,
so rudely interrupted,
before we were so rudely interrupted, bro.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, he been trying to keep me straight, keep me out the bullshit. Because you know what I'm saying. If you 20 years old, you go sit down for 4 years. You like, oh, hold up, maybe I need to switch around what I'm doing. But from him, like before, like I thought I was rapping before. Now it's like 11 o'clock at night. Like, oh, we in the studio all night from now till 6 in the morning. Whatever I'm doing, drop it. You know, like I didn't know what that was before. I was just hop in the studio, still be in the streets with the homies all day.
Speaking to the mic, fam.
Yeah, I would just hop in the studio, still be in the streets with the homies all day, and pop in for 2 hours and be like, oh yeah, I'm a rapper. Like, no, like it's a music.
It's a work.
You taught me it's a music business. You know what I'm saying? It's a music. Everything has a purpose. Everything has.
Jump on. How did y'all meet? How did y'all hook up? What's y'all's relationship?
Well, me and bro, we grew up in the same neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Actually, look, when I was a kid, I used to play basketball at Ladera Park. And I remember him, he a couple years older, he come up there tripping all the time. He never tripped on me.
Right. He stalled you out a little bit, let you live.
He was on some bullshit. He was up there like 15, like I was like, damn.
We both used to be running around crazy though when bro got locked down and he was watching some of the stuff I did because we was both solo artists. And I was like, man, when you come home, we finna put it together.
Yeah, I had to.
You feel me? And Big Dude made it official, you know, where we went from reckless, you feel me, to, you know,
can't be, gotta keep them straight. This brings up an interesting story. This is something that a lot of LA people gotta do. You gotta let people know where they at in LA, and I'll tell you why. I had a trainer, dude used to train me, we would like run, stuff like that. Shout out to Sloan. I told Sloan that one day I was gonna tell this story, because I don't know where I'd be at in LA. When I see black people, I assume it's love. If I see you and you black, I assume it's love. I'm like, I'm from a place where you see black people, I assume it's love. We used to go down there, and you know Dorsey High?
Yeah, you used to go to Rancho Park.
We go to Rancho Park and stuff like that, and so I would meet him. I would meet him, and he would be like, yo, I'm doing something else, like right a second, why don't you just jog? And so I'd be like, no problem, I jog up and down MLK, jog all around, you know what I'm saying? Come back and be like, my nigga, just to let you know, I don't think people want me down here. It's like why? It's like I jog through this bitch, and it's niggas that stop doing what they doing.
They wondering where you from.
Yeah, like, it's niggas that stop. You know, I got a trash bag on. Like I'm obviously working. I said niggas that stop doing, and he's like, now, did I tell you to jog down Martin Luther King? I was like, no, nigga, you just said jog. What the fuck? He's like, you ever see Training Day? I was like, yeah.
That's what that was.
That's what that was.
Yeah. And it was real.
I didn't know. So to me.
Well, Tupac said you need to learn about your B's and C's.
You did.
Because these niggas is real G's.
We didn't know what that meant in Louisiana. We had no idea. If Pac said it, we was cool with it. We didn't know that other niggas is copycats, these is G's. Right. I didn't know. I don't know what that means. You know how much shit that y'all say on these records out here? Like YG would say shit, and I didn't know what he meant. I don't know what's going on. Right. It just sounds good. But I'm gonna use you and I'm gonna use y'all now as my resource as what to do. So what do y'all hope to do in the music industry? Is my thing.
Man, we just really want to kick in the door and just, you know, show the world who we are. You feel me? Put out good music. You feel me? Just the real way. Me and bro authentic. Everything we did is authentic. It's really is.
Y'all had Justin Bieber dancing to one of y'all songs.
I seen that. That's love. Yeah, shout out JB. Shout out JB for sure.
He's
you feel
loving everybody's baby mama. Since we gonna keep it clean version right now.
Yeah,
loving everybody's baby mama.
Yeah.
Really
what's the this thing though? You can say what's the
Oh, it's everybody's baby mama, but we're technically fucking everybody's baby mama.
That's how the song go. You know?
That's how the song
having problems already.
They having problems already.
It's all over. It's coming from all over right now. Look, I had a dude. Look, this woman's husband texts him a picture from the audience of her on stage. I don't know how her husband got this dude's number. Her husband texted a picture
no lie
of us on stage and like, I knew that fucking song was about me. Like, and then he immediately called her like, man, I already knew that song was about me. I'm like, dude, like, I don't even know you like that. You know what I mean? Like,
but y'all are though. But y'all are fucking everybody's baby mama.
You
we might be, but still though.
I ain't putting no names out there.
Specifically, it's about everybody.
Now let me tell you something.
It's not fucking his baby mama. It's fucking everybody.
Everybody's baby. Let me tell you something.
Be offended.
OSB, I feel like
songs for everybody.
Y'all need to know something. There's certain people in the room who love rappers. Lauren, you heard right there? It's
model.
being done. Lauren, the model, right there. Brandon is his first time in the podcast right here. Y'all give it up for bored Brandon. Brandon looks bored.
What up? What up?
One thing that I love about Brandon's gonna be a part of the podcast now. He looks bored wherever he goes. I would really feel like this podcast was whack you if it wasn't for the fact that there's nothing that I've ever done that Brandon's ever been excited about.
Yes.
So if Brandon was excited about something, that would kind of, I'd be like, yo, this is fucked a little bit.
Triple X porno star.
You're not gonna be excited.
Yeah.
Rihanna could come into this room right now and take her clothes off and do this interview bad. Brandon wouldn't care. Brandon would be like, nigga, I see that shit on the internet. I'm telling you, bro, Brandon, look how bored Brandon is right now. But Lauren, not bored because there's rappers in here.
Oh my God, no.
So what you trying to say? You don't fuck with them? Well, I mean, it's because you fuck with everybody else. We've had rappers way less accomplished than these brothers. They had Justin Bieber dancing to their song.
They on World Star right now.
They're on World Star right now.
That's their second video on World Star.
They had 2 videos on World Star. That's 2 more than any other rapper you'd have met.
That's 2 more.
They're doing great?
Yes, but I'm not a rapper lover.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure that y'all switch Instagram.
We appreciate the love.
Yeah, they appreciate the love
I
right
want to hear
there.
y'all song though.
Oh yeah, we got it.
I want to hear y'all song though.
Can you
I
play
just
it?
like music.
I want to hear y'all song though. I just like music.
I don't know if I
He
heard it
definitely
before, like, when I
is.
was in the club or something.
Oh, some bullshit.
Not at all. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you what I like about this particular interview. Y'all don't understand how important these messages are. And I'm being serious because when we talk about the community, really anybody's community, we're talking about people. The only thing that we should be focused on as people is the attempt to do something positive.
Right.
These young men have said they've been through various things in his life. This brother was locked down. This brother could not zag. And the things that have happened in life, all you can do is take stock and do better.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Real talk.
Am I wrong?
No, you 100% correct.
So when you see young brothers like this and you're trying to help them and they're doing their thing, they're making music, they're obviously making an impact. Part of that's obviously y'all want to make money, y'all want to get that yacht, so Matty and his wife can have the bitches or whatever. But partly also, I'm sure that you see yourself in them a little bit.
Definitely. That's the reason why I kind of came back into music. When I was finished with my son, and he's at Reno, Nevada in college. So
forgot about this. Big U's son.
Yeah.
Lil Michael Vick.
Yeah. He not playing quarterback no more.
He not playing quarterback no more?
We had a bad season in our last year. His last year, we didn't have no receivers, so he really was kind of just
running all over the place. What is he playing for? He's playing for Nevada?
He playing Reno, Nevada. He started a couple of games this year as a freshman. 17, just turned 18. He playing receiver, safety. He kind of like one of them. He play everything.
Like Slash, like an athlete.
But he's a real athlete. Like he.
Nah, bro. You used to post the stats.
Yeah.
And I would see the stats and be like, yeah. So, but they're not playing quarterback though.
Nah, they didn't take him as a quarterback because it's hard. It's so many politics to get that QB spot, and then you got to be everything compared to being the next thing to the next whoever,
right.
And then coming from our school and coming from a black community, it's a lot difficult, So what they do is look what you don't do or didn't see. So, but I mean, he having fun right now. He having fun. He dominant. He one of them kids. Never played the position and went up there and started.
Yeah, natural athlete.
Yeah, he's definitely one of them kids we're gonna see play on Sunday.
Natural athlete. So y'all got the fucking everybody babies mamas. Are y'all gonna stop there? Or y'all gonna move on to fucking wives and fucking people's grandmas?
You know what? We just want to get better. You feel me? If it moves on to moms and aunties, you feel me? I'm with it. I'm all about growth.
Oh my God, I can see it right now. Fucking your whole family, all the women in your family, your godmamas, your sisters. We taking them all down. Who's working with them? Like who y'all got with them? Like any around the city? Y'all got some
well,
features?
really, to be honest with you, we didn't want to do no features on this project.
No features.
We wanted to come out and let them see that they really can get down. Because it's like, if I go do it, then it's Big U doing it.
Right.
if I go get Wiz, T.I., and all the rest of them to get on the song, they'll never be taken for as rappers.
Yeah.
In 3 months, we got over 50 songs. Because like he said,
y'all all working, man.
We
Yeah.
trapping.
We got features too, but they just in the cut. We ain't, you feel me? We ain't.
You ain't even using
we
it.
got features because because people come to the studio when we working and they hear the music. Like once you hear the music, once I really get a chance that you hear the music, I want the music to work for them.
Right.
I don't want nobody to do it on Big U because people will immediately say that they only getting that love because of Big U. You know what I mean? Because my connection to the music, we ain't getting no features from Nipsey, T.I., Wiz. We ain't asking no features from nobody.
Right.
Because I want them to get off on the music. Because when I went in the studio, how it actually came about, I was going in the studio with them with somebody else totally. And I had a vision for them being that person. And Smoke and Fi came with us, and we had got some beats from Molly Moore. I'm old. I went to sleep on the couch. I woke up, I hear the beat, and I'm like, what is they saying? Then I doze off again. I wake back up. They say, you got to hear this, finish it, listen to it. I hear the song. I'm like, damn.
And they just basically jumped on it?
Yeah, they basically jumped on the song. And then from there, I'm like, wow. So then they made more music. So in about a week time, 2 weeks time, and I started seeing the cohesiveness that they had. And it wasn't like nothing I had seen in a long time, because you got to remember, I'm kind of spoiled. My first introduction to music was Corrupt.
One of the greatest lyricists
One
ever.
of the greatest ever. Then from there, I was with Game for a while.
Another dope lyricist.
And so I was listening to, I was seeing, when I come back in 2004, I'm with P.D. Pablo, I'm with all these different people, Ludacris and them all at this time. When I seen the work ethic and I seen what they had. So it's something that the world, and I feel like they really don't need no features. The only thing a feature can do for an artist is get them known. So a feature would get me, Wiz would get me connected to Wiz's 5 million followers.
Yeah, just kind of brings his audience to them.
That's what that does. But when you really can flow and you really can make music,
if you got to hit, you got to hit.
You got to hit. So I was like, nah, we not trying to get nobody on the song Baby Mama. We gonna let the song go for itself. We got another song that's gonna be coming out, which is my favorite song. It's called It's a Struggle. We shooting videos. You got to see they remix to
I
Drake.
just wanna fuck you. That one?
No,
Dr. Dre, the Look Alive.
the Dr.
Video
Dre.
already shot.
Oh, we gonna kill you. I promise you.
Dr. Dre, Look Alive is different than what
Look Alive. They redid Look Alive.
the Drake and the J.
out.
Yeah.
That video's
that,
out now.
yeah.
They did a Look Alive remake. Like we did a Look Alive remake. Y'all did a.
We did the Walk It Like You Talk It
Cardi
remake.
B,
That video coming out,
Okay.
already
Yeah.
shot. We did Barty Cardi.
I'm about to put y'all on the spot, all three of y'all. Right now is a golden era, I feel like, for West Coast lyricists. West Coast always been dope making music, but right now you got some ill lyricists on the West Coast. Who's the best rapper on the West Coast right now? Each one of y'all tell me.
Well, I won't say best, but I'll say one of my favorites is Corrupt, just off, because I done seen this dude do 1 million words per second, freestyles off jump
Yeah, Corrupt
for
crazy.
10 minutes straight.
That's a legend.
Yeah.
He's in the legend category.
Yeah.
He's in the Corrupt. Corrupt is in the legend category.
Yeah, definitely.
Corrupt. Who do you say?
I think the best artist out of the West right now is probably Kendrick, and then OSB after that.
Boom.
Yeah.
I was hoping one of y'all would say y'all own selves. Y'all
I was
gotta
finna
believe in
say
yourselves,
OSB
kids.
myself.
Y'all
That's what I'm working with.
gotta believe in yourselves.
I mean, the thing with me is, I got a lot of artists who come at me, young, old, who trying to come back in the game. I feel like the energy is with them is different. Because it's like you going to go do something else, and then something else pop up,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, for like 3 weeks straight, I'm like, man, this is it. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, how can I get this done? I need to get this done. And then just seeing the music. These when you hear the music and because they got a Future feel with a Future, the Kendrick Lamar with the Drake.
Okay.
And it's kind of like all of that.
The rapping, the melodies, and the hooks, basically.
It's more of that. It's more of that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where would we put a feature? Where would we put somebody to come in and do?
Because you're getting too many styles from them already. I feel you. Y'all all left somebody out when y'all was talking about the best rapper on the West Coast.
Ooh, Ice Cube?
Nah, nigga, me.
But you from the South.
But I'm on the West Coast now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
I'm ill with this shit.
Oh, well, look, Mike, you gonna spit something?
Lauren wasn't even paying attention, but now when I said that, she's like, "What?"
She said, "You rap?"
is he gonna spit something though?
Am I gonna rap right now? Nah,
Yeah.
man. Because
You
I
not
don't be
gonna spit
liking. I don't, I don't be liking to just
You not gonna do
freestyle.
one bar?
Nah, man. I don't. Because when you got the shit like I got it,
I'm Big U and I'm a hell of a 6'2". It's
Oh.
on you.
Oh,
Got him a one, right? You
Yeah.
gotta go now, right?
nah, I'm not
Drop one
going.
on
Nah, I was just joking. I don't be rapping like that.
But you just let me fade you though, and I'm old.
Well, look, I told you before.
But I'm old, bro. You can't let that go.
First of all, but
got
you
off, you
old,
gotta
but you
swing back.
all the
but
people
you
that
was
swing
in
Louisiana,
back.
all but Louisiana is kind of like, if you watch it in Louisiana,
But-
this is an interview.
Louisiana knows
You
I'm
let y'all down.
I'm about essays. I don't know if you guys know, but I won the essay contest 1997. I was a national merit semifinalist. So why don't y'all give it up for that?
No, don't clap.
You guys terrible. Y'all are
We waiting for
terrible.
him to
I
spit
tried
a
to
verse,
fake
right?
that.
Y'all,
bro.
I know you waiting for me to spit a
We
verse,
waiting for him
Lauren.
to spit
I know
something.
you. By the way, how old school was Big U's rhyme?
Right,
you can
but still, though, you gotta
you
say
can,
where he at.
you can tell Big U was around for the genesis of hip hop.
Right.
Like,
How
you
can he not spit
listen.
one?
Y'all could just see Big U with the Kango on. like,
We got a feature actually from Big U on the song.
Yeah.
oh, you fucking kidding me?
We got one feature.
That's one of our only features.
You on the song?
That's the struggle, yeah, boy. That song
Oh,
I told you my
shit.
favorite song.
Yeah, no wonder it's his favorite song.
Yeah.
Because you on
I
that
wish
bitch.
we could play it, but but look,
The Red Pill podcast with Van Lathan.
and this one here did not spit his
I
verse.
didn't- I
No
didn't
matter
rap.
how old my verse is
Let me tell you something.
and how my old style was,
Yeah, he
it's
spit it.
whose turn?
But here's the deal, though. You're a rapper. We thought that you was just coming off the top with that. Now we know you was probably in the lab writing
No
that
way
bar
I
for like
was
6
no
hours.
rapper.
like you was on the song with them.
I'm not rapping at all. It's nowhere near rap.
You coming out. And by the way,
I don't rap at all. I'm just talking. I'm just talking. I'm telling you, the song is about like the history of LA. It's about
I see.
where I grew up in Arlington, right in the '60s. Okay, see, we had a crew in the '60s that kind of like took off, and we the ones that you see like Big D managed. Snoop.
when you say in the 60s, just for people that know, he's not talking about 1960s, the decade.
Right.
You're talking about
in the rolling 60s.
Rolling
in
60s.
the area.
In the
We Arlington.
yeah.
And in the 60s, it was like 10 or 15 of us that grew up on this one street. And we are like the ones who's in music. Like me, I do music entertainment. Big D do music entertainment. Fat Donnie do music entertainment. Snoop. That's between Snoop and all the different people that we've done and dealt with. We kind of like the brain trust of people who are doing stuff in entertainment. S-Mac and with Floyd. We kind of have an interesting net. Marquise over at me at Secret Sundays and
Oh,
OHM.
word. Yeah.
That's my nephew.
Okay.
He grew up on the block that I grew
Yeah,
up on.
I know LJ and them better.
LJ and them, right?
Yeah, but-
all of them is our babies directly from like that crew of the AGs.
Shout out to
where we come
LJ, by
from.
the way, man. Shout out
Yeah,
to my
you know,
guy.
he over there
in China right now.
getting that-
yeah. So God bless him. And hopefully we come back. Everybody know from that know LJ. We rooting for him. But yeah, all of those guys. Yeah, man. Shout out to those dudes. I didn't realize that, man.
Yeah.
So last question I'll ask you, bro. Obviously we've gone over your history, your present. What do you want? What's the most? You got your fingers in a lot of different things right here. You're wearing a lot of different hats.
I'm finna go to Kuwait. I want to just come back.
You finna go to Kuwait.
Yeah, I go to Kuwait on the 23rd with Steve Lobel.
What y'all doing in Kuwait?
We going to go speak. Then I look on the news and they bombing over there and somebody.
They always bombing. They've been bombing over there since '91.
I told Steve, I said, bro, do we still want to go? And Steve talking about, yeah, we still got to go. I said, you sure? Sure we still got to go?
Don't let Steve get you
I'm
fucked
scared
up.
of bombs. I mean, I can handle shots, gunshots, but bombs?
Bombs a little bit different. That's
You can't zigzag that.
It's a little bit
Like
different.
that, Steve, you acting like a white boy now.
A little bit. That's the only time I've ever heard that Steve acting like a white boy. What's your vision in the future? What 10 years from now? What does Big U hope will have happened?
10 years from now, I would like develop an option to be what the Boys Club is, what the YMCA is, and for us to have 100% graduation rate from college with our kids.
I see.
You know,
so
what
these
I mean?
kids enrolled in your program.
In our program, I want 100%. I want 100% of the kids that is touched by us, and I would like to see development option in our program all over, you know, the different states. It don't have to be my name. I don't have to be. It can be me helping people reconnect with their athletes or their people. They help come out the community, help rebuild their community where you come from. So the pride in that community can be there.
Mm-hmm. People listening to this podcast, how can they help you make that a reality?
Go to developingoption.com and you know, they can make a donation or reach out some way to connect us. They can you know, find some way to reach out, connect, and help us to, you know, reach back to our community. Right. Especially the people who, if you're successful and you're not gonna lay down with the finances, you could help a kid.
Right.
And it's about knowing that what we are doing is actually helping our kids and actually reaching back to help change the community that we came from, and we are doing a great job at that. Mm-hmm. You know, we could use a lot of help to continue to do it because most of it comes from me.
Right, I feel you.
You know what I mean? And it's a burden. That's the only time wifey get mad. You spend the money on all these kids. Well, I'm gonna go spend some money too.
Right.
All right.
All right. I feel you. Listen, it's important work. It's good to see you take the lessons from the community and use them to improve the community. Y'all give it up for Big U one time.
You didn't get the verse.
You didn't get my verse? You know what? How about this?
Uh-oh.
How about this? I'm gonna write a verse because I can't freestyle, but I'm gonna write a verse, and we're gonna have Big U back, and we're gonna rap. As a matter of fact, since Big U want to call me out on my own podcast, we're gonna have Big U back, and at the end of the podcast, I'm gonna battle Big U.
I was just finna say that, battle.
We're gonna go verse for verse. See, I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
He just told Big U he was gonna write his rhymes. he just told Big U he was gonna write his rhymes. Since I'm gonna go ahead.
You gotta get somebody right here.
I'm gonna go ahead and take an L right now, but we're gonna have Big U back. We're gonna have
Harvey write your bars.
Jeez. Like it would be the wackest. You have no idea how whack it would be if Harvey wrote any bars for me or for anyone there.
I remember I was in prison. I used to watch Harvey.
My friends in jail say that.
Watch Harvey.
Everybody. I used to watch Harvey. Everybody used to be like, "Shut up, TMZ."
They'll be like, I'm so proud of y'all. How do y'all watch it? Like, that's all we watching here. I'm like,
One of my friends.
She got friends in jail too.
I
See,
bet
she likes
you
rappers
do.
and prisoners.
And prisoners, on, man. And most of the time, it's the same people. Most of the time, it's the same people, rappers and prisoners.
family members and friends in prison.
Yeah, a lot of friends in jail, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this battle with Big U is gonna happen. We're gonna do this.
Money on the phone?
No.
We're gonna do this at the end of the summer. Jason, clap for Big U one time.
My boy Jay, the light killer.
We go. Jason trying to kill our light. He doesn't like black people. Red Pill Podcast. That's it, man. Appreciate you, Big U. Anything you need from me, brother, you can always get it, man. Appreciate it, bro.
All right.